What is good, everybody, man? This is your guy, Manny, and this is the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. So today we're talking fantasy football, man. I got some awesome rookie wide receivers to talk about, specifically those drafted in the first round. There are other rookie wide receivers that are having impacts in the league, but this is going to be geared towards the rookie wide receivers. Towards the rookie first round wide receivers. So I'm going to run the intro. We're going to get this thing on and popping. If you guys are jumping in, feel free to ask questions. If you guys have starts and sits questions, feel free. If you have any comments, feel free. But I'm gonna go ahead and run the intro. We're going to go ahead and get this show on and popping. Let's get it. We got my guy Darrell in the building, man. Appreciate you hopping on this stream, man. I appreciate it, brother. So yeah, let's get this thing on and popping, man. Let me see. All right, cool. So rookie wide receivers, those specifically selected in the first round that are having major impacts so far this season. I want to go ahead and come on the show and say I apologize for bashing Drake London. Darrell knows it, man. I did not want anything to do with anything to do with Drake London during these rookie drafts. But Drake London has been a revelation. Drake London has been amazing so far this season. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I got some highlights to share with you guys. And we're going to talk about Drake London and what he's doing already this season, man. This guy has superstar potential in the making. You know what I'm saying? You see what he's able to do against smaller cornerbacks. Was that Ramsey? I'm not even sure. But either way, man, this guy right here, he's balling out of control. He's doing his thing. And look, I can't knock it, man. I can't knock it. Drake London is going to be special. I got plenty highlights to share with you guys. Where is the one? Let me see this. This might not be the one I wanted to share with you guys. This past weekend, the guy had 7 targets or 11 targets, and he caught 7 passes for 75 yards versus a pretty good defense in the Rams. You know what I'm saying? That means that your guy was on him most of the times, Jalen Ramsey. So, when you come out here and you go 7 for 75.
Quarterback to this season to try and change some of those numbers.
Second down and goal. Mariota
on the slant. It's Drake London with the touchdown, his first NFL score.
Trying to get an audible communicated.
Off the play fake, Mariota over the middle. There's Drake London with the grab. And London,
you worried about his separation? Separation looks great.
2 here to make it a 6-point game. Mariota into the end zone. The 2-point try to Drake London. And the Falcons.
This is with a quarterback in Mariota who isn't all that.
To this season to try and change some of those numbers.
It's amazing.
Second down and goal. Mariota
on the slant. It's Drake London.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it here, man. I got more highlights to show you guys. So yeah, Drake London, man, he is a beast. And it's sad that it took me this long to really realize who Drake London truly is. It's truly sad it took me this long. But Drake London, so far this season, he's been targeted 19 times. So I don't know what the target share is so far. I didn't bring those notes with me. But as a wide receiver that's a rookie to have this kind of impact, you guys remember, Drake London was selected 8th overall. He was selected the first wide receiver selected in 2022. Drake London, he has 19 targets so far. He has 13 receptions so far. He has 160 yards and 1 touchdown. And that's in 2 games. If you do these projections over the course of a 17-game season, like I'm a mathematician. This is what I love to do. So if you look at the targets, he's averaging 9.5 targets a game over a course of 17 games. Let's just say that he's fully healthy. That's 161 targets and a half. I'm not saying he's going to get 161 targets and a half, but that's pretty impressive if he continues at this pace. So far in 2 games, he's averaging 6.5 receptions a game over a course of 17 games. That's 110 receptions. Now, I don't know if he gets 110 receptions, But I will say that Drake London has a chance to get over 100 receptions. That's definitely within the scope of what Drake London can do. He has 160 yards right now, which is 80 yards per game. And if you stretch that over a 17-game season, assuming he's healthy, that's 1,300 yards. Obviously, there's going to be games that he has that are going to be bad. There's going to be good games, there's going to be bad games. But if I'm projecting over the course of 17 games, being fully healthy, 1,300 yards is definitely, getting targeted like this, anytime you've been targeted 19 times in 2 games, it just bodes well. So you can definitely see Drake London doing some great things moving forward. What's good, Hawk, man? Appreciate you hopping on the stream, brother. Appreciate you hopping on the stream. But yeah, I was wrong about Drake London. I have come on the show live to apologize about that. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. But a guy that I was right about was Garrett Wilson. At least I've been right so far. Everybody told me that Garrett Wilson will not succeed because he's going to the Jets. People also told me that Garrett Wilson won't succeed because Elijah Moore is a beast. Both things might be true. The Jets are the Jets. That's number one. Number two, Elijah Moore's a dog. That's number two, right? But at the end of the day, I saw Garrett Wilson's talent. The guy is just special. When I see Garrett Wilson, he reminds me of a Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs type of guy. I'm going to run some of his highlights as well. Give me a moment while I find it. But yeah, man, I've been truly impressed with Garrett Wilson. And you guys remember he was drafted number 10 overall in the draft. So after Drake London was drafted, the very first wide receiver, it was Garrett Wilson. The very next wide receiver going to the Jets. The Jets wanted to solidify their group, and they wanted to make sure that, they had guys that they can trust and believe in, and Garrett Wilson is one of them. When you're trying to change the culture, right, of how your team looks and what's going on with your squad, you have to go and grab these guys in the draft. A lot of times, who wants to go to the Jets and play? Yes, Tariq Hill had a chance to go to the Jets and trade. He said no. Trade me to the Dolphins until Zach Wilson starts to show some things, and maybe people might be attracted to coming to the Jets. Corey Davis came to the Jets on a holy overpay, and that hasn't worked out for them just yet. But Joe Flacco has looked great. Joe Flacco has looked great so far with the Jets, and let's see when Zach Wilson comes back. I'm a big Zach Wilson fan. Can Zach Wilson continue to do some of the things that Joe Flacco has been able to do to help Garrett Wilson be more successful? Everybody was thinking Joe Flacco to Elijah Moore because they had that rapport last year. And slowly but surely, Garrett Wilson is taking over as that number one wide receiver for the Jets. And that's something that I felt was going to happen. When I told people Garrett Wilson over Elijah Moore, people called me crazy. I have good takes, I have bad takes. But the thing is, believing in your takes and owning up to it. When I'm right, I'm going to victory lap. I'm going to I'm going to celebrate when I'm right. When I'm wrong, I'm also going to, say, hey, I was wrong. Look at the release. Look at the release. This is a rookie that's moving like a veteran. That's just textbook. That's textbook. And there's another wide receiver that I'm going to talk about a little later in the show. I don't want to kind of take away from what Garrett Wilson is doing, because this is the Garrett Wilson segment right now. But I'm a big fan.
Murdered him. Come on, bro.
And the energy is there. Energy is there. His teammates love him. You see Mike White over there with Joe Flacco. I actually thought that Mike White was going to be able to come in and elevate the play of Garrett Wilson. So we have to see, can Garrett Wilson keep this pace going? I don't know. I really don't know what to think.
For the Jets. Flacco over the middle. It's caught. Touchdown. Garrett Wilson. The Jets trying to pull a miracle comeback. 15 yards straight from Flacco.
That's insane.
What a route by the young rookie. Watch how in stride this ball is, on time and in rhythm. He just quickly snaps it across.
So while that's playing in the background, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Garrett Wilson for a little bit. Darrell says Flacco season. Yes, it's Flacco season. if Flacco continues to play like this and also win games, it's going to be hard to go back to Wilson when Wilson is healthy. Let's say that Wilson is out for, let's say, another 3 games, and Joe Flacco goes and wins those next 3 games, making it 4-0 or 4-1 in that span. It's kind of hard to now go back to Zach Wilson because you're winning games. At the end of the day, teams want to win games, and you can now bring in Zach Wilson along slowly. But I'm not a Joe Flacco believer. I've never been. But for the right now, he's playing well, and he's feeding my guy Garrett Wilson. So Garrett Wilson so far this season has 20. He's been targeted 22 times. He has 12 receptions, 154 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So right now, based off of the numbers, the targets, right now he's number 1 in targets for rookie wide receivers. Right now, he's number 2 in receptions, 1 below from Drake London. He's also second in yards with 154 yards, but he also has 2 touchdowns, not 1, but 2. So Garrett Wilson is trending up. He's averaging 11 targets a game. I'm not going to do the whole math on, if he continues to do this, he'll have this. But I want to say that Garrett Wilson, he's special. He plays bigger than what he actually is. What is he, like a buck 60 something, maybe like a buck 70? But he produces at a high level, and this is what we saw out of him in Ohio State. He knows how to run routes. But the best part of Garrett Wilson's game is that when he has the ball in his hands, he makes plays. He has that yak ability, and that's the best thing that I love about Garrett Wilson. The next guy we're going to talk about is Chris Olave. Now, the way that my notes are, there is no particular order. Chris Olave was drafted. Well, I guess I do have them in how these guys were drafted. So, yeah, Chris Olave was drafted number 11 in the draft right after Garrett Wilson. Washington Commanders fans, they wanted Chris Olave, including myself. But trading back, not only brought in another guy we're going to talk about on this show, but also it also netted them more picks that brought guys like Brian Robinson Jr. and Cole and some of these other, I really don't know like the specifics right now, but pretty much trading back got them 3 or 4 players, including Sam Howell. So it was a good trade back for Washington. But when you're talking about Chris Olave, if Chris Olave right now is available in your redraft leagues, in Dynasty, he's not available unless you just have a few people that don't really understand the value of young players. He should not be available in Dynasty, but if he's available in your redraft leagues, you want to go ahead and grab Chris Olave now. Chris Olave is very cheap to acquire right now. I think that he has a breakout game this next coming game. If you look at what not Jahan Dyson, but what Chris Olave was able to do last game, he led the team. He had 5 receptions for 80 yards. He didn't have a score, but Jameis Winston talked about Chris Olave, that Chris Olave could have had more yards. He could have had a touchdown or so, and his stats would have looked a whole lot different. And I'm telling you guys, even in my league, Garrett Wilson was available in a redraft league because, as redraft, people don't really trust these rookies coming out, especially when you have like 5 bench spaces. You can only but put so much, right? Guys like Curtis Samuel is out there in free agency, so you're going to go vet over some of these rookies. But for some of us who play Dynasty, we know about these rookies, and we follow these rookies, and we follow their careers in college and whatnot. So Chris Olave, he's the one that gets his breakout game this week. I'm predicting that Chris Olave has his best game yet this season, game 3. So far, Chris Olave has 16 targets, 8 receptions, 121 yards, and that's playing with Jameis Winston, who's Jekyll and Hyde. Sometimes Jameis Winston plays great. Sometimes Jameis Winston plays bad, right? You don't know what Jameis Winston you're going to get. But at the end of the day, let's go ahead and look at what Jameis Winston was able to say. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and then we're gonna listen to what Jameis Winston is saying. And this right here should prompt you guys to go ahead and grab Chris Olave.
Is there just a certain look they were giving you that you felt like he just was going to win that matchup, or what goes into that?
Yeah, I felt like he won his matchups. I felt like I just didn't give him the ball. We connect on 2. I think we just connected on 3 of them. Like we connect on 2 of them. 2 of them being big plays. I think it's a different outcome in the game.
So what Jameis Winston is saying that had they connected on one or two big plays, that everything looks different, right? That means the outcome of the game, obviously, and then also Chris Olave's stats, obviously. But what I also want to say here is this guy, I mean, he, to me, is one of the best route runners.
The first half by Winston.
If not the best. So he's playing behind Michael Thomas. He's playing behind Jarvis Landry. And then he has Jameis Winston. So this is the game I think that he breaks out. I could be totally wrong, but hey, I'd rather at least pick him up for free from free agency and see what happens. So I'm excited for Chris Olave. This guy's going to be special, man. He's going to be special. He's going to be special. He's a technician when it comes to running routes. I mean, he's one of the crispier route runners in this draft. Look at that. And he's not tall. He's not tall. He's not big, but he's very fast. He's very fast. So what this draft has shown us, outside of Drake London, a lot of these guys are not necessarily big. A lot of these guys are either slender, they're slim, they're fast. They can do a lot of different things. So, yeah, Chris Olave, a guy that's being targeted 16 times in 2 games, that's pretty good. And it's only going to get better as the season goes on. I see Chris Olave supplanting Jarvis Landry as the number 2 wide receiver. And then with the whole Kamara injury thing, we don't know. Is Kamara going to play a lot? Is he not going to play a lot? We really don't know. At the end of the day, Chris Olave is here gaining targets. He's catching half of his targets. That's always a good thing. Look at how players are targeted and see if they're catching at least 50% of their targets. Because if I'm throwing you 15 passes and you can't catch 50%, I'm going to stop targeting you. That means your hands are bad, or that means there's some separation issues. That means there's something to the reason why you're not catching these passes. Sometimes it could be the quarterback. Absolutely. Now, the number 4 wide receiver that I want to talk about right now is my guy, the main man, Jahan Dotson. When we traded back and we was drafting Jahan Dotson, I was excited. People were asking me, why are you so excited? And then I'm like, did you guys not look at the film? Jahan Dotson has the best hands in the draft. And it's not even close. We can debate this. Jahan Dotson has the best hands in the draft. And you're going to see what I mean. Of course, I have to show some highlights of Jahan Dotson. I have to, because if I'm going to show highlights of everybody else, why not show Jahan Dotson? Jahan Dotson is arguably having the best season so far as a rookie. And I'm going to explain what I mean, but then you're going to say, well, Manny, you just gave me stats of Drake London and stats of Garrett Wilson. What makes Jahan Dotson one of the best? So let's just go ahead and share the screen. Let's go ahead and show some of these highlights. Jahan Dotson's that dude, man. He's him. He's him. Hey, he's that dude. All right, so here is the game versus the Lions. But while this is playing in the background, Jahan Dotson has been targeted 10 times. So already you see he's gotten less targets than a lot of these guys. He's been targeted 10 times. Out of those 10 measly targets, he's caught 7 of those. Out of those 7 measly receptions, he has 99 yards. Out of those 99 measly yards, he has 3 big touchdowns. So that's the big number. It's amazing that a guy can get 10 targets and get 3 touchdowns. That's unheard of. So for every 10 targets, he's getting 3 touchdowns. Sign me up. This guy right here, he's a gamer. He's a gamer. There are times when it's like he looks like the best wide receiver for Washington. Looks like the best wide receiver for Washington. And this guy right here needs more love. He needs more love. He's not getting the love that a lot of these other wide receivers are getting, but the moves that he puts on people is like the swag he had, coming into the league. The way that he talks, he walks around with a football and he does this, he does that, and people are like, what's going? Like, I mean, is this guy, is he crazy? Like when he talks about, catching passes, it's like $1 million. He doesn't want $1 million to slip through his hands, like stuff like that. So to be targeted 10 times and to catch 7 of them, I told you guys he has the best hands. There's nothing that he can't catch. Look at this contested catch right here. This is like a 40-plus yard catch. He goes up, he gets it. He's nothing but like 5'11", but he plays bigger than what he actually is. He can jump out the gym. Said stream went out, my guy. Oh, man. It's still going on my end. I don't know. What do you see? Like, can you see anything? Let me get on YouTube on my phone and see what is going on. Give me a moment, guys. Give me one moment. YouTube. Let me see what's going on. Oh, stream is unavailable. Okay, maybe because I'm sharing certain things. Let me stop sharing. Let me see if it brings me back, because sometimes YouTube doesn't like people sharing videos. So let me see if the stream is back. Okay, they canceled me. That's fine. I'm gonna restream.